I hear crunching from behind the Christmas tree. And there is a Lucy. She came to eat her cookie by the Christmas tree. Chloe's just trying to grab little bits that are left over. Are you sharing? Is she sharing? So, I'm looking a little cluttered in here now because I have my 2 boxes of decorations and lights for Josiah. And there's a bag with something else on top of that. There's a few more things downstairs for Joe to get. I have my old set of Christmas dishes that I saved because I bought a new set 2 or 3 years ago, and I use those now. And I didn't want to just toss the old ones because they're still nice, and actually they would probably be considered antiques now. Well, close to antiques. Something's an antique when it's 25 years. And I've had those. I bought them when we first moved to Virginia, and that was in 1988. So yeah, they should be 25 years old. So anyhow, Joe and Melissa are going to take those. And then we have a wooden nativity downstairs too. That it was my mother-in-law's, and they're going to take that. So they got to come and get that. And then that was the birthday bag that they gave me my birthday present in. And I'm just tossing things in there that I think that they will want. And I forget what I put in there. Oh, this was the picture from my edible delights arrangement, or whatever the thing's called, with my fruit. But it's gray on the inside, and it's like this, I don't know, this ocean blue on the outside. My kitchen's not in blue. So I thought they might like that, because something like that would be nice to like make pancakes. Whoops. Something like that would be nice to make like pancakes with, you know, and pour it out. So I'm going to let them have that. And I decided not to use these. And one thing I will tell you, last Christmas when I had these on my tree, they were fine. And I had them all through there. But see, look, it's just little shaking. See the little dusty, feathery things. I don't know if you can see them. They're falling out. I thought, oh, you know what? I'll save these for next year, meaning this year. I took them out of my box of decorations. The feather things fell out, and they're all like in the box, and then they got all over the floor. So I decided that I wasn't going to use them this year. So I'm going to take these and toss them outside somewhere. It's garbage day today, and all the garbage is outside. Oh, and you want to see something? Want to see my neighbor's trees now? Our tree still has pretty many lights. Our tree still has pretty many leaves on it. But look at the neighbors across the street. Their maples are getting skeletal, and look at all the leaves. Now on camera it's not showing up so much, but they got, like, it's thick over there with all the leaves they've got. But stormy clouds are moving in. We've got rain coming, and I'm sure if we get any winds blowing through here, it'll probably take off the rest of those leaves, and probably start taking ours off too, because they're ripe, ready for falling. And I noticed down over here by those, they look like pine trees. They're actually Japanese cypress or cedars. What are they called? Cedars. But that, where you see like the golden color leaves there, that is my crepe myrtle. And the leaves turned a pretty golden color there. So anyway, I'm gonna go toss these out. Yesterday, when I took out my chicken for yesterday's dinner, I took out some stuffed peppers, and I threw some extra meatballs in there for my boys. my husband was asking for stuffed peppers over the weekend. So I thought, okay, we'll have stuffed peppers for today's dinner. Then guess what? He told me last night when he came home that he's been up at 3 Mile Island doing their outage up there, and it's like an hour and a half drive, and it's okay to drive it every day when you're just working normal hours, but they're at the end of the outage and they've got some things that they've got to get done quickly, and so it's going to require more hours in the day to work. And considering that it's an hour and a half each way to drive, he would have to get up like at 4 o'clock in the morning to be there like at 6:30, and he'd be coming home probably like 8:30 at night. So he decided he was just going to stay up there. So anyhow, I took all of this out and it's all thawed out, so I can't really put it back in the freezer. They say that you can freeze meat just one time after you've already thawed it out, and I have done that, but I didn't want to throw it, you know, back in the freezer again because I've got these peppers, and I'm not sure once you've thawed out your vegetables then to refreeze them. I just didn't want them to be too mushy. So it's not any loss because I'm just going to go ahead and cook them, or bake them actually, and I'll just put them in the fridge. And then when he gets home in a couple days, then all I have to do is just heat them through and make either some rice or mashed potatoes with it and another vegetable. So I'm doing that, and I'm using my homemade spaghetti sauce that I canned August of 2012. And since it's got everything in there, I'm just going to pour all of that like so. And then get to my lid. And then I need to get it in the oven. And this will go in the oven for, this will probably only need to be in there for an hour. You know, they say an hour, but whatever they say for cooking things in the oven, I usually go 20 minutes to 30 minutes over that because I just like to make sure everything's done. So this will probably be in there probably for about an hour and a half. I'll let it go. And then cool it down and stick it in the fridge. So I was out at the freezer. I took out some boneless chicken breasts to thaw out for tonight's dinner. And this bacon, I'm going to let it thaw out in there. I took out some homemade potato bread, and I will let that thaw out for tonight's dinner. And I took out some chicken broth because I'm going to make chicken soup. And what I like to do is you can get this broken up, just, you know, bang it down till you get some broken pieces, and then I unzip it and put it in a bowl, because sometimes when you're shoving things in your freezer, these freezer Ziploc bags that you'll put like your meat in or your veggies, and this is stuck on here. I'm gonna have to get some hot water, but anyway, you know, they might get a little pinhole or something from things being scraped against it, and I'm going to lose some of that broth by doing this. Let me see if I can pull it off. There. And then you get liquid. As it's thawing out, you'll go to pick up your bag and there'll be liquid all over. And when you're wanting to use your chicken broth for soup, obviously if it's all over your counter, you've lost your broth. But it happens with meat too. When I'm thawing out meat, there could be like a little pinhole or something, and the juices from the meat as it's thawing out, you know, it gets all over the counter and everything. So when I'm thawing out, especially like broth or like any soup that I have frozen, I definitely put it in a bowl. And what I do with my meat, I will let it sit out on the counter. But if I notice anything coming from the bag, then I know that there's been like a little prick in the plastic bag. And before it's all the way thawed out, I stick it in a bowl so that it can finish thawing out and the juice can run in the bowl. And then obviously got to get my disinfectant and clean all that up. But anyhow, I'm going to make homemade chicken soup. This is broth that when I boiled chicken with the skin and everything, this is the broth that I froze from it. And that's what I do. I try to always have my own chicken broth if I can for soup. And especially if I don't have, like, you know, a whole chicken to fry, or even, you know, the cut up chicken with the breasts. This way, you know, it's all frozen in the freezer and I can pull it out. But I notice I only have, I think, one more bag of chicken broth left. So when I go to the store, I should probably buy like a whole chicken and then cook it in a big soup pot. And then I can get, seriously, I can get about 3 of those gallon Ziploc freezer bags full of broth, and I'll stick them back in the freezer for another time. So anyway, time to have my coffee and go read my Bible. I have one more load of laundry that I'm waiting on, and they're just sheets. So I'll get those folded. Then I can go upstairs and get dressed and see what I'm going to do with my day. It's 9:18 and my house smells like stuffed peppers. It smells so good. I was upstairs getting dressed and ready for the day when I heard the timer go off for my peppers. So here we go. Stuffed peppers, an hour and a half later. So these are done. Now I just need to let this cool off. It'll take a good couple hours to get it completely cooled down and room temperature, and then I will just get a big container and put all this in there and stick it in the fridge. And then when Harry's home this weekend, I don't really have to do much effort in making dinner, but just to, like I say, either make some rice, or I usually will do rice, or I peel potatoes and, you know, make mashed potatoes, and then a side of some vegetable, and then our dinner will be ready. It's a small world after all. My friend Melissa was showing a video of her Christmas decorations, and she had a little music box that was playing It's a Small World. So I just got done watching that. It is finally raining, but it's not like raining. It's just drizzling raining. But Kelsey, would you like to come in, or are you going to just stay out there? Ooh, it's a bit chilly too. I think I will turn on a fire because it's getting chilly in the house. Oh, look at all the leaves blowing off the trees. I turned off the furnace because I would rather just put a fire on during the day and use the furnace for at night. My whatchamacallit, my peppers are cooled down now, so I'm going to put those away, and I'm kind of taking a break today. The only thing I did do, I can't remember if I showed in one of my recent vlogs the little steps going up to our bed. I think I showed it. I went to step on it to get down, and not realizing it was like a real thin plastic. Anyway, my foot went through part of it because it's not made for humans to be on it. So I had to go to the pet store, and I bought another set of stairs, hoping that the dogs will get used to going up that one. They looked like they were kind of nervous to even try doing it. But so I went to go get one of those, and I stopped at the grocery store. Oh, I forgot I had batteries back here. Oh, I was charging batteries. I had to pick up, you know, a few things like milk, and I got some more corn tortillas, because the last couple times that I've made my own homemade chips, frying them, I do that from time to time, but the last couple times that I've made chili, instead of putting like crackers in it, I, just start frying the chips. And my husband really likes them. He likes them to even snack on now, like with our salsa. And he says, I don't even think I like the store-bought tortilla chips anymore. I like the way you do it. So anyhow, I bought more of those so we can have those for another day. And what else did I get? Oh, I got, I'm starting to prepare things for the holidays now. So I make my cornbread stuffing for Thanksgiving, and I showed how I did that last year. But I add, this is the cube white and wheat bread that has herbs and spices with it. Even though I will still add my own seasonings, but I still put this in with my cornbread when I make my stuffing. What else did I get? I know I got something else. Oh, I got some lunch meat. I needed to get more lunch meat. So that will do me. Oh, milk. Did I say milk? I got milk. And that will do me until I go to the grocery store, probably this weekend. What else? That's all I've done today, really. I've cleaned up my kitchen, made a video, read my Bible, did my little errands, and that's all today. Oh, and I baked my, whatchamacallit, my peppers. So here in a little bit, it's 1:45. I'm going to get my soup going. Oh, I know what I gotta do. I have to boil some eggs for salad because I'm having salad with our soup and the potato bread that I made. So I'll get some of these boiled. And then probably nothing else. I'm taking a break today because I think I've worked hard, really hard for the last week. So anyhow, let me get this stuff. My eggs are boiling away. How do you make the best boiled eggs whether you know that they're done all the way through? You put your eggs in water, you bring them up to a boil, you let it boil for 1 minute, you turn the heat off, you put a lid on, and you let it just stay there for at least 15 minutes. I let it go longer, and Adam's cleaning his car because he's off today. And Mr. Binks finally decided to come in, but Kelsey is still sitting outside on the swing. So I'm going to light my candles. I was waiting till a little bit later here in the day to light my candles because I've got them. These are the autumn ones, and I got them where they're almost finished. So if I start burning this, hopefully this will take me all the way through the night. This one still has a little ways to go, but I'm getting excited now to start burning my Christmas scents, especially that mistletoe or the balsam cedar. Those are so good. They're like my favorite. So, seriously, I seriously doubt that you're going to go out there. I think I've already tried this door thing, and you walk outside, you realize it's drizzling, and then you come right back. Let's see how it goes. Uh-huh. As I suspected, you were not going to leave the deck, are you? Uh-huh. And here comes number 3. And you're going to do the same thing if you even go out there. They'll just stay there. And I don't know why Lucy is drinking water off of the deck, or licking it off actually, because they have a whole bowl full of water. But look what I had to do. I had to light my fire because it really was a little bit nippy in here. And let's see. I think I'll start turning on some of my Christmas trees because it's starting to get a little bit dark. My friend Jennie, and if I remember, I'll try to post a link to her channel. I've shared her channel before, but she's starting to vlog pretty regularly now, which I'm glad about that. And anyway, she was talking about they had to set their clocks back over the weekend. So did we. It's called daylight savings time. And she said that they don't normally do that over in Ireland. They just started doing it whenever it was, but it's not like something that she grew up with. But Jenny, we grew up with that here in the United States, and I think Americans are the offenders of delivering daylight savings times to your country and any other country that has embraced it. And the reason why they did that was to give extra daylight during the summer months. But we don't put our clocks ahead in the summertime. No. It starts around like Easter. It's like in very end of March or in April. I got doggies at the door. That we put the clocks ahead to give that extra hour. And then it used to be in October is when the clocks would roll back an hour. But a few years ago, they decided to be sneaky about it, and they extended daylight savings time for like 2 weeks. So now it's in November that they put the clocks back. So it gets dark here. It's 5 something when it gets dark here, but you know what? As soon as Thanksgiving gets here, Thanksgiving and then rolling into December, yeah, it starts getting dark like even before 4:30. I remember when I was living in Chicago, I would come home from work. I got off work usually at 4:30 every day, and I only lived like a couple minutes from where I worked. But yeah, I would come home and it'd be dark. And we used to have all these lights outside of our house. We were like the Griswolds. They were like all over the sides, the back, everywhere. And my kids wouldn't turn the lights on, and all of them would be home because I had a rule, you know, they weren't allowed outside after dark. And I used to have to plead with them, turn on the lights, you know, so because I thought that that's very cozy and very nice, you know, that you're coming home from work and you see your house all lit up, you know, you can actually see it instead of being inside and everybody else sees your lights, you know. That's why we put our lights out back here. We don't put them out front anymore because from my windows, people can see the Christmas trees. I've even had people that have come to my door for, like, for example, I threw something out one time. It was like wicker furniture, and it was just really old, and I didn't want it anymore. And this lady saw it sitting out at our garbage, and so she says, is it okay if I take this wicker furniture? And I said, yes. I just turned on my tree. I said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And she said, oh, thanks. Is there anything wrong with it? I said, well, it's just, you know, starting to get a little bit ratty, you know. But if you want it, you know, just paint it up and go ahead and take it. So she did. And then she said to me, she goes, you guys are the ones that put your Christmas tree up really early in November. And I said, yeah. And she goes, actually, you have more than one tree, don't you? And I said, yeah. She goes, I know. I see them when I'm driving by your house. She goes, I always look forward to November because I know you're going to have your Christmas trees up. And then my doctor, when I first started going to her, she actually used to live next door to us, but before we moved here, that her and her husband built a house subdivision over from us. And, ooh, Lucy, let's go outside. And so she said the same thing when she looked at my chart when I first started to see her, and she saw my address, and she goes, I used to live next door to you. And so, you know, it was small talk like that. And then, are you going to go outside? She was gagging. She threw up a little bit earlier today because I think she swallowed big chunks of her cookie. So anyway, after, you know, she told me that she used to live next door, she says, you put your Christmas trees up really early in November, don't you? And I said, yeah. She goes, I love driving by your house. I get so excited for Christmas because I see your Christmas trees. And that's actually a very nice compliment. I've had other people tell me the same thing. Like some of my kids, some of their friends, and they come over and they'll say, Mrs. Smith, I get so excited when I drive by your house and I see all your Christmas trees in the window, and it's like November. And so, yeah, that's very complimentary to me because Christmas has been so hated on for the last several years. And I don't know, well, I know why, but let's not go into it. But anyway, it really disturbs me, you know, that people hate Christmas, and Christmas is such a wonderful holiday. And I mean, there's a religious aspect to it as well. But even for people that, you know, they really don't want so much to do with the religious aspect of it, you have to look at all the other elements that go along with Christmas. About, you know, it's about family, families getting together, and not just on Christmas Day, but starting at, you know, like Thanksgiving, and then going even through. Families just start getting together a little bit more, friends get together. It's about, you know, just, how do I say it? Let me just say it this way. Have you ever noticed in your lifetime, well, not in the last decade, but before that in your lifetime, did you ever notice that around the holidays, people are nicer than they usually are during the year? Now think about it. You know, during the year, you get some people a little bit grumpy, you know, gossips and whatever, busybody people, and even those kind of people can lay off of all of that kind of thing. But people's attitudes change, and there is something about the Christmas spirit, if you will, that there's, you know, a lot of kindness, and people are just more polite. And even though we're living in a real disgusting world right now, as far as I'm concerned, there's just so much evil going on in our world, still at Christmas time you can still sense, it's not as strong as it used to be in years past, but you still sense people being nicer. People are more giving, you know, not even necessarily giving like in presents, but, you know, look at, you know, the Salvation Army people or different charities. Like if you do any research, you look up charities at Christmas time, charities are up. This is the time of the year that people want to give, and that has something to say for the Christ child. Even though people may not want to admit it or not, it does. And so I love Christmas, and I've actually had people from YouTube and even Facebook that they're starting to put up their Christmas decorations even early, like I do in November. One of my friends put hers up in October. But that's what it is. You know what? I think it needs to be infectious, this Christmas spirit. And I think that maybe we should start decorating a little bit earlier, because in doing so, we share our love for the holiday, and other people can see that the holiday, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing. And it also, for those of us that we are Christians, it gives us a chance to share our love for Jesus Christ. And that's why we celebrate, we observe his birth, his life, his ministry, his death, burial, resurrection. And we don't just observe it, you know, just at Easter. We observe it twice a year. This time that has been set aside, Christmas, to celebrate all of that. And so anyway, for those of my friends that they watch my videos, and you are some of those people now that you are starting to put up your decorations earlier. You're starting to get more in the holiday festive mood earlier than you have in years past. And if it is because of my videos and my friendship with you, and you see my love for Christmas, if I've passed that on to you, I'll tell you what, that is like, and I almost want to cry, but I'm not going to, but that is like the biggest compliment that I could receive, because Christmas is very important, and we should all be excited about it. So anyway, keep on sharing the Christmas spirit. I think that if we do that, hopefully we can bring back some of that Christmas generosity, the Christmas spirit, Christmas compassion, all of those things, the Christmas joy and happiness that we did have at one time, to bring all of that back. So anyway, that's my little spiel for today. I'm going to sit and edit my video as soon as I put my dishes in the sink and wash them, and I'm going to make myself another cup of tea. Adam and I have a delightful dinner today. I haven't tossed my salad up, but I got spinach and mixed greens and English cucumbers, tomatoes, eggs, olives, and shredded carrots and onions. And then I put some potato bread in the oven, and I made cream of chicken noodle soup. And I'm hungry.